So, however, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a little problem here. Where's our splash screen? That was something we set up in the previous movie to come in right away. So, how do we do that? If we come over here, we can see that the splash text is turned off. So anytime you have items or layers turned off, they're not going to animate when you preview. So I've got to turn this one on. Now, it looks a little crowded and strange in the screen, but don't worry. As soon as we animate, it's going to come on. There it comes in, and now I'm going to click on the breakfast button, and the breakfast items load. But look, we've still got the text in the background here. So we've got to do something about that. That's our splash text. So how do we deal with that? Well, what we've got to do is make sure our button's selected as it is, and come over here to our buttons panel. And what we've got to tell it to do is hide the splash text. So I'm going to come over and choose Show Hide Buttons here. Here it will list all the buttons here, and we've got three options. The X tells us to leave it as it is, not do anything with it. Whatever its current state is, that's what you want. Now, we could leave it as it is, it would work, but I personally just like to keep it a little bit safe and turn it on. These are the buttons that are always going to be on. So those are these buttons down here. I'm saying leave those on. It wouldn't make any difference. Now the splash text, this case we want this turned off. So I just click a couple of times on that to turn this one off. And these photographs, these will come on anyway. But again, I'm a little bit picky and like to make sure they're definitely on. So what we've done with the hide show buttons, we've told it to show everything except this splash text, which we've got to turn off. So let me close over, animate. There it is. Now when we click on breakfast, the splash text disappears and this animates. So we'll do the same for the next two buttons in the upcoming movies, and you'll just see how careful you have to be to get it right.